Volume of a prism. So, when we think of surface area, we think of what's on the outside, right? Like if I added up all the area on the outside. But when we think of volume, what do we think about? Inside. So it's how much you can fit inside, right? So volume is inside. So if we have, let's say this prism, so we're saying like how many cubes can you fit inside? So if there's 5 units by 3 units, so that means how many are in that first layer? 15. And then if you put another 15, another 15, and another 15, so 4 units high.
So you have to add. You have to add the bottom 2 and multiply by.
Well, imagine each layer has a layer of 15.
15 times 4.
15 times 4. So, right? So the volume here would be 60 cubic units, right? Now, if we have just any box, you can also think of this as just length times width times height. This is only for, bless you, only for rectangular prisms. Now, what if we had a hexagonal prism? Okay, so what we need to do is we need to figure out the area of the base, and we're going to multiply that by the height. And just remember, so B is area of the base.
I like the PA divided by 2 thing.
Yeah, we still have to do that. And then height, this is the distance between the bases. So just keep in mind, like if I put the prism this way, my height is going to be this distance, right? It's the distance between the 2 bases. And if it's a hexagon or a pentagon, we need to do the perimeter times apothem divided by 2. Good? Yes?
So we're almost always going to use those things again.
Well, only if it's a regular polygon.
And you're going to give us.
So let's look at the next one. What is the base?
Square.
No.
Oh,
So triangle. No, you're right. It's a triangle. This is the base. Right. You always have to have 2 bases with the prism. So what do you have 2 of that are parallel?
Times 2.
Okay, so this is 17, but what do I need for the area of the base?
Pythagorean.
I need to do Pythagorean theorem. So let's do a squared plus 8 squared equals 17 squared. Yes, we need our calculators. So a squared, it should be exact.
225.
And then take the square root of that.
15.
Bless you.
I did that in my. Square root of 225.
Mm-hmm.
So.
15.
Okay, so if this is 15 centimeters, what's the area of this base now?
We added. So 8 times.
What? How do you find the area of a triangle?
Base times height divided by 2.
Base times height divided by 2. So what's the base of this triangle?
So 8 times 15.
15 times 8 divided by 2?
So 17 just irrelevant then? It was just helping us solve A.
Right.
60.
Good. Okay, so now volume, we want to take the area of that base. So that's going to
The height
be
is 13.
60 times 13.
700.
Yeah, and it's just cubic centimeters. So we want to make sure all of our units now have a little 3 as our exponent. Good? Question? So do we understand why we did not have to do the perimeter times apothem divided by 2?
Yeah.
Because the triangle wasn't a regular triangle.
You could just do 8 times 8 times 8.
This one is a 8 times 8 times 8, or
5 times 12.
8 to the third power. On your calculator,
5
Oops.
times 12.
you see this? This is a caret button.
512.
We could just do 8 to the third, and yeah, 512
Feet squared.
cube. Remember, surface area is square, volume's always cube.
Good. Shape is good.
Okay, well, what's the base here?
Travel.
It's a trapezoid this time. I'm going to draw the trapezoid separate. Just,
Isn't there like a thing for a
do you remember the rule? Yeah, what's the area for trapezoid?
Like 1/2 is 8.
Right. H over 2, base 1 plus base 2.
What would be the height? 6.
Are you gonna give
Well,
us
that's the
that
height
formula?
of the whole thing. So how would we find the area of this
Are you gonna give
base?
us that formula?
No, this you need to know this.
The trapezoid you need to know.
Yeah, you should know, because that was from the last chapter, remember? No, we forgot it already.
Do we have it?
We'll see. Okay, what's the area of that trapezoid? What's the height?
Oh, you do like
1.5 centimeters.
Okay, 1.5 over 2, and then 2 plus 4.
Wait, so volume for everything is base, area of base times height?
Area of the base times the height. So that's what we're doing for the volume. So we're just on the side, we're going to find what's the area of that base. Put in your calculator.
4.5.
4.5.
Okay, so now
4.5.
B or B equals
4.5 times, what's the height?
6.
6.
27
27.
centimeters.
See, this is a bit easier than having to do surface area, right? It's a lot easier just to find the area of the base and multiply by the height. Good.
Does it get harder?
No?
Or is it the same thing?
It's the same stuff. Because what's going to be the volume of the cylinder? Same thing, area of the base times the height. But what's the base when we have a cylinder? It's pi r squared. That's it. Okay. And this time we want to find exact, which means what?
Pi.
We're going to have the pi in the answer. Okay, so volume is pi times
3 squared.
3 squared
Times 8.
times 8. So we're just going to multiply 3 squared times 8. We should be able to do that without calculator though. 9 times 8 is 72. So it's going to be 72 pi cubic centimeters. Good? Easy peasy. Okay.
Wait, what is it?
72 pi. Okay, now the volume of a cylinder is given 1,117.9 cubic meters, and we know the height. So here, volume is this, and the height is 9 meters.
Can you just do 1017.9 equals pi times d?
Well, hold on. It's saying the volume. What's the volume formula?
Oh, B. First,
So do we
B
do-
equals pi
But
So-
you do
r
1,000.
squared times.
Right, so we're going to plug this in
Yeah.
for V. So 1,117.9 equals pi r squared times 9.
So do we divide it?
Yeah, so what are we trying to isolate? We can't solve
The
for
pi
D
r
right
squared.
away. We have to find what R is, and then what do we know about diameter?
It's double R.
It's 2 times R,
But why do we need to know that?
because
Oh, it
that's
won't
what it's
say.
asking for.
Oh,
Okay, so what do we want to, how we want to start?
So divided by 9 or minus 9.
Minus or divide?
Divided
Main,
by.
main,
Divided by 9.
divided by 9. We can, and that's what I would actually recommend, because we want to cancel both the 9 and the pi. So we just get r squared. Now just make,
113.1 pi.
So I'm gonna just make sure you divide the whole.
Exact or no?
Well, let's see. Let's see what happens when I divide it by 9.
113.1.
Uh-oh.
I thought you went exact. Oh.
Something went wrong. What went
But I
wrong?
didn't include pi.
But I didn't do the pi.
Oh, okay. So now divide that by pi.
We're rounding it, so just do 36.
I got 355.
Did
I
you?
got 3,590.
Whoa. Let me ask you a question. When you divided by 9 pi, look what happens if
36.
what happen? Yeah, what happens if I don't divide the whole thing by 9 pi?
It multiplies it.
It ends up multiplying it.
Then how do you divide the whole thing by 9?
So you can either do control divide, like that, or you could do 1,117.9 divided by, and then you have to put it in parentheses, 9.
What's scientific notation?
Okay, so what do we get for R then?
6, and then you have to multiply that by 2.
So diameter is
12 meters.
12 meters.
Wait, what's
Wait. Can you go back?
That's right.
Wait. It's,
I'm waiting.
Okay.
What would
R
you look?
36 equals r squared, right? How did you get r equals 6?
Well, how do you get rid of the square?
Oh, square root.
Square root.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go about the next one.
Well, the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. A standard drum of oil has a diameter of 572 millimeters and a height of 851 millimeters, pictured below. Find the volume, and we're going to write it in scientific notation. Scientific notation is like times 10 to the 4th power or something like that. Okay?
Oh, I remember this.
So well, first of all, if the diameter is 572, what's the radius? So 572 divided by 2 gives us 286. Okay, so it's going to be pi times 286 squared times the height. So pi times 286 squared times 851.
Whoa.
What's that?
So in scientific notation,
Did I write something down wrong?
No.
Oh. Okay, so that's a really big number. So what we want to do is we want to be able to write it as 2.18681.
Oh, you like move the decimal.
Remember how we moved the decimal over?
Oh, you move it over at times. How many times, and then you write.
How many times do we have to move it over?
Oh.
So it's here. Well, let's see.
Wait,
One,
I got 8
two,
times.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
So it'd be that number.
So 2.
2.1 or 2.2.
Does it say how much?
in this case with my calculator, this is really weird. I got like 2 point decimals and then E.
Oh, did yours have an E? Okay, tell me what yours says. 2 point what?
18681.
E8. That is when you calculate and it shows up with the E, that's times 10 to a power. So your calculator already gave it to you in scientific notation.
What?
So, like, okay, if let's say I multiply this by a big number. Okay, so do you see how at the end it says E14? This means this is my answer times 10 to the 14th power.
Is like, so is it always gonna be 10 to what something power? Like
Yeah.
10 to 10?
Yeah.
So what do I write? Just all the 2 and all the decimals times 10 to E.
We'll write times 10 to the 8. Okay, there are about 3,800,000 cubic millimeters in a gallon of oil. How many gallons does the standard oil drum hold? Okay, we're going to take, what do you
Is that
think?
the volume? 38.
Don't we
No.
need information?
No. We already know this is the volume.
The standard drum of what?
Oh, and you know what we forgot to put in here? This is, that's cubic millimeters. So this is the volume of the drum, okay? If there are 3,800,000
Are you gonna
cubic
give us a question
millimeters
in scientific notation?
Let me
in
just do-
gallons, what do we do?
Volume equals space times time.
Okay, if I told you that
Oh, do we divide that by that?
we have to divide, yeah, so it's like if I told you, okay, here's a container and it holds whatever, how many quarts, right? And then you say, well, how many, maybe gallons, maybe there's, right, 4 quarts in a gallon, so then you say, oh, how many gallons are there? You would divide.
So we divide
So we're gonna divide this.
2.1. But like, how would we write that in the calculator to divide that? We have to do that? Oh, that's it? You just
Well,
like that.
yeah, and because I already have this in my calculator here, I'm just gonna press enter and divide by 3. 5 zeros, 1, 2. And I get about 57, what does it say? Round to 1 decimal?
I got 57.5.
57.5 gallons.